Ruby. Awesome. Okay, Baruchim Abraham. So we are on the next Mishnah, Perkei Avos, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Vav, Yoshua ben Prachia, v'nitai harbe'eli kiblu mehem. Yoshua ben Prachia omer, aseh lecha rav u'koneh lecha chaver, v'haveh dan et kol ha'adam lekav zchut. As the Shem, we're going to finish this whole Mishnah in one time. Second, there we go. Now we're going to start off with the flow that we have in the Maharal. We mentioned it last time, and I want to mention it again now. There is a flow in these Mishnayos where there's a macro vision of what this first parak of Perkei Avos is trying to do. In other words, you should not look at it in a limited way as if each Mishnah is standing independently, but rather you should recognize that each generation is building another level. So what we spoke about in the last time, and the one major point that we have is the balance between Ava and Yira, the Ava-Yira balance. We spoke about how Antigonus Socho had it all in one, and how each of the pairs, each represents one side of it. Whereby the first one is always the Nasi is representing the side of Ava, and then afterwards the Av Beis Din, he comes and represents the side of Yira. So now we're going down a generation, whereby last generation they were speaking about the Tikkun HaBayis, the home, and we spoke about how one should make one's home mushlam, both in Ava and Yira. Now we're speaking about going outside the home and how you relate to other people. When you come to relate to others, what is the Ava perspective and the Yira perspective of how to relate to others? And the Maharal writes that Ava is always going to be in the Aseh, in the positive, and that's why this Mishnah, which is that positive way, the love way of relating to others, is all going to be positive. Aseh lecha rav, kaneh lecha chaver, dan et kol adam lekav zchut, all positive things coming out of love. And the next Mishnah, which is the Av Beis Din, nitai harbe'eli, is going to be all also relating to other people, also ber adam lechavero, but this time it's negative. Harchek mishachen ra, al titkaver rasha, al tityaesh, all negative instructions of lo ta'aseh, of what not to do. That one we'll get to next time. But now we're working on our one. So Yoshua ben Prachia, who is the Nasi, he's teaching the love relationship with other people. He's teaching how to relate to other people. Now, when you learn different topics in Torah, there are some topics which are inspiring, and there are some which not only are they inspiring, but you feel they touch you at the core of your essence. This particular Mishnah is one of the ones which I feel touches me at one of the cores of my essence. It's like one of my messages, like that gives me chiyus, my way of relating to the world. And what major question we're going to be relating to today is, this Mishnah seems very simple. What is the real deep underlying message that is Yoshua ben Prachia is teaching us? With that major question, we're also asking, what is the connection and the underlying one message behind all three? So what's the underlying message behind all of these three statements, and what's the deeper understanding behind all these three? When you read it on a simple level, it seems you should have a rabbi, you should have friends, and you should judge favorably. On that having a rabbi and have friends, it seems very simple. You shouldn't need a Tana to teach you that. And on the judging favorably, well, that's an explicit pasuk in last week's parsha. In last week's parsha, we said, "B'tzedek tishpot amitecha." The Gemara darshans out, "B'tzedek tishpot amitecha, havei dan et kol adam lekav zchut." You don't need a Tana to come and teach that statement when it's the pshat in an explicit pasuk. So the initial questions we're asking are, it seems too simple that it's teaching these statements, have a rabbi, have a friend, judge everyone favorably, when that statement is an explicit pasuk. That's question number one. Question number two is, what's the underlying connection between all of these 3 points? And now we'll get more into detailed questions. You'll notice that it's speaking about the relationship of a Rav, of a Chaver, and of Kol Adam. 3 different sections of people. And it gives each one a different way of relating. When it comes to a Rav, it uses the word Aseh lecha. When it comes to a Chaver, it says Kaneh lecha. And when it says to other people, it says Dan lekav zchut. So our question is, what is the deeper understanding? Why by a rabbi is it making a rabbi? Why not acquire a rabbi, or why not find the rabbi? What does it mean? You make the rabbi? You create him? Is this Maaseh Bereshis? What does it mean? Aseh lecha. You make a rabbi. How do you make a rabbi? Maybe you should say find the rabbi or take a rabbi. What does it mean you make? So that's question number 3. What does it mean to make a rabbi? And question number 4, by the friend it says Kneh Lacha. Acquire? Are you supposed to buy friends? That doesn't sound authentic. Am I supposed to use my money and go and pay for friends to my friend? Will you be my friend? Yeah. How much? $50 a day. Okay, that's good enough for me. Okay, you're my friend now. I pay you. It's not authentic. Let's try. Maybe find a friend, attach yourself to a friend, litchaber, to join yourself together with a friend. That would make sense. But kneh, the word of acquiring a friend, that also doesn't seem to make sense. So we'll leave those 4 questions. Question number 1, it seems too simple, each of these statements. They don't teach us anything new. Question number 2, what's the underlying message behind it? That's a major, major question. And the 2 detailed question is, why does it use in respect to the word rabbi to make yourself a rabbi? And why does it use in respect to a friend to acquire a friend? Those are our 4 questions we're going to deal with today. And we're starting, and so we've left the Maharal for now. The Maharal gave us just that, what we took from the Maharal was that the concept that this is a love relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and how to relate to others. That's what we need the Maharal for today. Now we're going to be going with the Rambam and Rabbeinu Yonah, and they're going to be our guides mainly for today. So let's start with the first question, Aser L'Charav. Now everyone on the page, the Rashi and the Rambam and Rabbeinu Yonah, they're all bothered by the language Aser L'Charav. They don't ask it as a question, but they do give it an answer. So let's hear the words of Rabbeinu Yonah. That's who we're going to be going with. Rabbeinu Yonah gives 2 answers as to what it means Aser L'Cha. Says, Afilu shata yodea kamoto. Now that line is answering our question number 1. It seems too obvious. It seems too obvious what it's saying, that you should have a rabbi. Of course you should have a rabbi. What's the chidush here? So he's saying, no, there's a chidush. The chidush is that even if this rabbi doesn't know more than you, you should have a rabbi even if he doesn't know more than you. Now that's a chidush. I would think a rabbi has to be someone who's going to be transmitting the Masorah to me. Someone who's a generation before me who received the Masorah from his Rebbeim. That's what a rabbi, when it says, if it would say find a rabbi, then it would be find a rabbi who can give you the Masorah. That would be but now that it says Aser L'Charav, then it makes sense that it's talking about someone who doesn't know. But why would you do that? Why would you want a rabbi who doesn't know more than you? And it fits into the words. Grammatically, it's Aser L'Charav. You choose him and you make him your rabbi. But why would you? He doesn't know more Torah than you know. So he continues and he answers that in 2 different ways. Aser oto Rav Alecha, determine for yourself that he will be the rabbi above you, above you. Why? Number 1. מפני שאדם זוכר מה שלימדו רבו יותר ממה שהוא למד הוא בעצמו. So point number 1 that he makes is, not that he's going to give you a chidush, but you'll remember better something that you hear from someone else than something you learn yourself. And that point is very interesting. Usually, when you think of an idea yourself, you're very excited about it. And you feel this is my idea, I thought of this. And when you hear from someone else, say it's someone else's idea. So normally you would think to yourself that your own idea is more special to you, is more meaningful to you, connect to it more. But that's only true if you relate to the person as an equal. Meaning if you say, I'm equal to him, I thought of it, it's my idea. Whoa. If he thought of it, why did he think of it first? I wish I would have thought of it first. Then you like your idea more than his idea. However, if you view someone as your Rebbe, and you say, you know what I heard from my Rebbe? I heard this, and you quote it word for word, what your Rebbe said. Then you get very excited about it. And you quote it, and you say, I heard this with my own ears. I heard this idea from my Rebbe. You get a special excitement because you feel that this is my Rebbe who I revere and I find to be great. And I heard this from him. There's a hashpa'ah that comes down to you. There's an influence that comes down when you've heard it from your Rebbe. So if you view this person as an equal, then when he says something, you won't remember it. Because who said it? He's my friend. But no, he's not a Rebbe. But if you view him as your Rebbe, wow, my Rebbe said this, I love that idea. You'll remember it forever. That's answer number 1. But don't worry, we're going to have to explain there's a lot more depth. I'm just reading the Rabbeinu Yonah for now. Then point number 2, he says, Pa'amim yavin davar yoter. It could happen, but maybe he'll know something you don't know. But in no, you may be lucky and you may surprise yourself that this guy who you think is equal to you, in one area he knows more than you. Oh, well, who would have thought? Say this guy knows something more. My chavrusa knew something that I didn't know. Amazing. Who would have thought? So therefore, it's worthwhile having a Rebbe, meaning you making him your Rebbe, because maybe you'll learn something new. So let's just focus on this for a minute, and I want to ask a major question on that parish of Rabbeinu Yonah. So to summarize, the question number 1 was, isn't it obvious you should have a Rebbe? And question number 3 was, why does it say aseh lecha? What's the word aseh? We've answered both those questions by saying, we're not talking here about a regular Rebbe that you receive as a Masorah. Rather, we're talking about someone who's equal to you. And it's saying aseh lecha Rav because it's not natural that he would be your Rebbe because he's equal to you really in knowledge. Now, according to the second interpretation, it could be here or there he will make a chiddush that you didn't think of. So then that I understand a little bit that you should make him your Rebbe because then you'll be able to learn something new from him. But according to the first interpretation, he will never figure out anything that you can't figure out. Then we're talking about someone who will never, according to your assertion, according to the first answer of Ben Yonah, it's someone who will never think of an idea that you can't think of. There's nothing ever that he will machadish for you. And it's saying you should make him your Rebbe. Now here comes that's what Ben Yonah's thing. Now here comes our question. Why would you do that? What's the deep benefit behind it? It's not being authentic. Now that word authentic is going to come back to accompany us the whole way through this Mishnah. It's not being authentic. Our goal to be Jews is to be yashar, to be authentic, to find someone who doesn't know more than me and say, he's my Rebbe, but he doesn't know more than me. Why am I pretending and making a game? Is this a game? Is Yiddishkeit about pretending, about making games? Why is Rabbeinu Yonah teaching us the words of Rabbi Shua and Prachia are, pretend as if someone is your Rebbe, even if they don't know more than you? Why should you pretend that? Because then you'll be able to remember it better. But why? Why do that? Don't play games. Don't do tricks. Be authentic. That's our major question. So let's pause there on that statement and go on to the next one. So we've understood the words, what aseh lecha Rav means. And our major question is, why aren't you being authentic? Why are you doing this trick of... And now the second one, it's going to come back the second way around again. Kaneh lecha chaver. You should acquire for yourself a friend. Now here Rabbeinu Yonah and also the Rambam, they go on a similar pattern to what they did beforehand. Rabbeinu Yonah first says, there are 3 reasons why you need a friend. Reason number 1 you need is a chavrusa. For divrei Torah. If you learn with someone else who's your chavrusa, you'll be able to bring out the learning on a deeper level. You sharpen each other, you get to a deeper understanding. Reason number 2 you need a friend is for mitzvahs. Because even if this friend isn't more holy than you, and he's not better than you, and even he does Averos from time to time, but when you're with him, then when he sees you doing something wrong, if you're good friends, then he'll say, do you really want to do that? Now, when you're doing it wrong, you get all carried away with a desire, so you don't hold yourself back. When you're with your friend, you say, oh, yeah, you're probably right, I probably shouldn't do it. And then if you're good friends, you do it one for another, and you each, when you, your own desire, you may lose yourself, but with your friend, he's not getting desire from what you're doing, so he'll be able to give you tochacha in a friendly way, in a positive way, you're good friends together. And good friends will say, do you really want to do that? And you'll say, I'm really happy you're around. If I was by myself, I would have done it. Now you're around, I'm not going to do it. That's the second reason why you need a friend, to help you in your avodas Hashem, to hold you back from doing inappropriate things. And the third reason, and the language of Ben Yonah is, Nimtzu shneim chozrim b'tshuva. And it turns out that all the time that they're together, they're always going to be doing acts of tshuva. And the third reason is for eitzah. When you want to take counsel, it's not necessarily in a Torah or a mitzvah area, but just it's always better for a person to think more broadly, to bounce ideas of other people, even if the other person doesn't have knowledge in the idea. Just the fact that you have someone to speak to. I remember when I was a kid, I was studying for my exams, I would ask a member of my family to sit there opposite me, and they could do whatever they want, but I just want to read out all my notes and say all my ideas, and then I would say and speak, and they would say, yes, very good, yes, very good. And then I would say, wait, so what is this? And they would say, I don't know, I wasn't listening. Why weren't you listening? I don't need to listen. You're talking to yourself anyway. I know, but it helps me that you're there. Sometimes with the eitzah, you don't even need them to really pay attention. Just the fact that you said out there, how many times has it happened to me in Keren B'Yavneh when I'm sat in my place and someone's come to speak to me, they say, Rebbe, can I ask you a question? I say, sure. They start talking, and they go, oh yeah, I figured it out. I say, thank you. And what did I do? I just sit there. I'm a sounding board. That's my role in Keren B'Yavneh. Why I get a salary to be a sounding board. Someone gives themselves advice with my face. I said, just take a picture of me, put it next to you. Whenever you need an idea, you just put it, you speak to yourself, you'll get the idea very freely anyway. Third reason why you need a friend, eitzah, that bounce ideas off. Says Rabbeinu Yonah, and this is what's going to connect back to our major theme. Why does it use the language kaneh lecha chaver? Why acquire? He says, She'im lo yimtze'enu b'chinam, if you can't find a friend for free, yikachenu b'kaspo, you should pay money to find him, to buy him. v'yizbazbez nachasav. You should spend all of your property kedei la'asig chaver tov, to acquire a good friend. And if that doesn't work with money, there's another method. Or you could do it by appeasing him and speaking friendly to him and complimenting him and praising him. And even if he insults you, let it pass. And wait a minute, that's not fair. Well, I should be insulted and just accept all that. Says, it's worth it. If you don't accept his insults and always give him back praise, he won't remain your friend. He won't remain in love with you. Because people argue on things. So now, our question's coming back again now. The same questions we had on the first part. Are we trying to be authentic here? Am I supposed to pay money to someone to be my yes man? To be my friend? Shouldn't real friendship be authentic? That we meet, we connect, we hit it off, we start talking, we give each other advice, we encourage each other with mitzvahs, we learn a chavrusa together. I'm trying to be authentic. Why is the advice of Rabbeinu Yonah of the Mishnah saying, yeah, it's worthwhile paying for? It's worthwhile paying, or even like take insults and just give him compliments. It's worth it. It's not authentic. While we're on this topic, before we get to the third section, there's a beautiful, beautiful piece in the Sefer Avos Chesed by the Chofetz Chaim, where he speaks about an idea which is exactly connected to this. And it's worthwhile mentioning now because this could really, really help your marriages and all of your interactions with people. There's a concept called the Shalom Bayis Fund. This is worthwhile knowing and imbuing in yourself deeply. Most times you have an argument with somebody, it's about small amounts of money or about insignificant things which are principle of the matter things. Most arguments are about those things. She wanted to buy something, you didn't want her to buy it. And how much did it cost? It cost $20, $30. Sometimes it's even like 5 shekels, like really not a big deal. And it's with a friend, like you bought something for him and he gave you change, but it wasn't the right change. And how much are you talking about? 15 shekel, you're talking about 6 shekel, like it's not significant. And then what happens? You feel that this guy in the shop cheated you. That's what you feel. Now you walk around for 2 hours, like frustrated and upset, and you meet the next guy and you're sharp with him and you're short with him and you're carrying, and you come to open your sefer and learn and you're like, you can't think straight. So because of 6 shekel, you're allowing 2 hours of your learning to be wasted. Because of 7 shekel or $20, you're allowing the interaction with this good, innocent person to be harsh and tense and cruel because of the last interaction that you had with someone else. Now, if you would think about it straight, would you be willing to pay $20 not to have friction with a person? For sure you would. If you would know that you're going to waste 2 hours of learning, would you be willing to pay 6 shekels to have a calm peace of mind? Of course you would. So says the Chofetz Chaim that you should have a Shalom Bayis Fund, which means that you set aside your money every month, which that money goes to any time you know you would get frustrated about a particular issue, about an issue with your wife of what she's spending, about you went to a shop or you were in a taxi and you feel they overcharged you, about a friend who used something of yours and it got broken or it got damaged and the pages are a bit worn. And now because the pages of your book are worn, you're like not able to learn focus for the next of the whole Seder and you're all upset about it. And you ask yourself, Ribono Shel Olam, the book cost me $15. Now I'm wasting a whole Seder because this tension that I feel of, so I'll take $15 out of my Shalom Bayis Fund for my own peace of mind, to have Shalom. You will go through all your interactions in your married life with a calmness that every time you feel, oh, I can't believe this, they're cheating me, they're uprooting me, it's the principle of the math. What principle of the math? The Shalom Bayis Fund. You have a whole fund for this. It will save many, many, many points of friction between you and your wife and you and many other people that you meet. Kaneh lacha chaver. You should pay money to have a friend. You should pay money towards your Shalom Bayis Fund so that you'll be in chaverus, that you'll have that friendship. That was just like that, enhance that point. Now the last point also, and this is going to be the one point that's going to bring it all together in a deep way, in a beautiful, heart-orientated way, is Havigdanet Konlag Danakav Suchut. So how many times do you hear people say, Rabbi, but look, like Danakav Suchut is fine if the person's a tzaddik. And you know, it's like, could go 50-50. But this is not 50-50. You can call him a tzaddik, but that was no way of explaining that in a clear way. Or if he's a Benoni, Rabbi, okay, but be logical. Like it tilts towards what you want me to make up things and not be authentic. You want me to like pretend, oh yeah, maybe he was makdish all of his property to Hashem, and maybe he exactly now leased out all of his animals to someone else, and maybe all of his property is on loan to someone. Like, yeah, that's so far-fetched. Like, why would I think of saying that? Like, that's like not realistic, Rabbi. Like, let's try and be honest here. Doesn't the Torah say you should be yashar and be honest? Doesn't it say, Rabbi, that the seal of Hashem is emes? And you're telling me to like be done like it's not authentic. You're not being real. So our major question that we're asking, which is accompanying us through the whole Mishnah, is all of these statements seem to be not being authentic. Aseh lecha Rav, according to Rabbeinu Yonah and the Rambam and Rashi, everyone's interpretation means that you should pretend that someone who's not really worthy of being your rabbi is your rabbi. That's not being authentic. Question number 2, stage 2. Kanel chaver means that if you don't have a real friend, pay him out to be a friend. Or in the case of the Shalom Bayis Fund, drop the principle of the matter and just say, yeah, I'll let it go, I'll let it go. It's not being authentic. Kanel chaver, you have to buy your friend. Stage number 3, the whole principle of Danakav Zchut is not being authentic. If he's a Rasha, that I don't have an issue with to judge him unfavorably, fine. I'm okay with that. But if he's a tzaddik and he does something very far-fetched, you're telling me to be Danakav Zchut, or if he's a Benoni and he did something that leans towards negative, not very far-fetched, but leans, you're telling him to like make up a story and pretend, I want to be real, I want to be authentic, Rabbi. I want to follow the way of Hashem of Emes. So now, hear these words from Har Sinai, because this is going to be a core principle which will not only explain this Mishnah, but will give a perspective of life which is transformative. There are 2 levels of truth. There's a superficial level of truth, and there's a deep, achdus-orientated level of truth. And when you ask the question, I want to be authentic, I want to be real, I'm asking you, what level do you want to be real on? Do you want to be real on a superficial level? On an aretz level? On a level in a world of separation? Or do you want to be real on a deep level, on an authentic level, on a level of achdus where everything is united? That's going to be what's going to unite us all. If your goal is whatever I see in front of me now, that's the truth. What I see in front of me, that's the truth. How I see it now is the truth. That my superficial initial thought, that's the truth. And I'm holding on to that. And that's going to be the truth that I'm going to carry with me till the end. And anytime you explain anything else to me, that's false, Rabbi. Then you're looking at the world with an inauthentic, superficial, irrelevant perspective. And you're holding yourself back from connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu on a deep level. And remember, our Mishnah is how to come to love Hashem, because we're on the love side. And if you learn how to love other people, then you'll be able to learn how to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well. So let's think of a deep, authentic perspective. If you go into a relationship with a Rebbe, with the mindset of external, then you'll look at this person and you'll see him as an equal. If you see him as an equal, you'll say, there's nothing for me to learn from him. When you say there's nothing for me to learn from him, you create a reality where there's nothing you can learn from him. However, that's superficial. It's true on a superficial level. However, the moment you relate to this person as a Rebbe, and you say, I can learn from this person could be my Rebbe and I could gain from him, then you create a new relationship. You create him to be your Rebbe. The way that you view him now changes his status, and he becomes your Rebbe. That now when you'll look to him, you'll say, what can I learn from him? This person is my Rebbe, what can I gain out from him? And even if he didn't see himself as a Rebbe, but the moment that he sees you viewing him as a Rebbe, he says, what unique thing do I have to share? He's looking to me as if I have some unique quality that I can share with him, something authentically me that I can share with this person. That's how he's viewing me. You bring out that deeper, truer relationship of him finding his unique quality and being able to teach it to you and give it over to you. Aseh lecha Rav. Make for yourself that he will be your Rebbe, because you will gain from it and he will gain from it. And that will become the deeper, truer, more achdut-orientated relationship that you have, because he's bringing out now a side of him he wouldn't have known. And you're identifying a side of him now that you wouldn't have known, but you have to create it. It won't be an external, superficial vision. Only if you aseh, if you make him your rabbi, then you'll be able to draw out of him wisdom as a Rebbe. That's stage number one. That's a depth of thought. That's a perspective shift, where instead of looking at the world with an inauthentic, superficial view, you look at it with this depth. Level number two, kaneh lecha chaver. The nature of friends is that friends come from totally different perspectives. I want to read to you, this is the Chassid Yavitz. The Chassid Yavitz was from the Megorshei Sfarad. He goes along the same theme as Rabbeinu Yonah, but he says it so much more clearly. Listen to these words. Chassid Yavitz. He says, it is well known that the nature of people, their makeup is totally different. And on a natural level, if you want to be superficial and you want to be external, then on a natural level, there will always be an area of something that you love and he hates. Because there's no overlap, a pure overlap, because everyone has different natures. Whether it be in the way that you sleep, and many people in Cambrai Avne who have roommates can testify that there are differences of opinions of how and when you should, or how loudly you should sleep, or whether the types of things that you eat. And therefore, by nature, if you look at an external level, there's always going to be a divide between people. And that's why, listen to this diuk that he makes in Koheles. That's why the Pasuk in Koheles says, Tovim hashnayim min ha'echad, it's better to have two than one, asher yesh lehem schar tov ba'am meilam. Asks the question, Chassid Yavitz, why does it say they will have reward from their effort? Effort? Is friendship an effort? It should have said, yesh lehem schar tov b'chiburam. They will have more benefit by connecting. That would be a more external understanding of Shlomo HaMelech. It's better to have two than one, because they will gain by being together. Simple. He doesn't say that. He says it's better to have two than one, because they will gain by putting in effort. Why putting in effort? Says the Chassid Yavitz, Ha'amel ha'magia lekol echad b'chavrat chaverov, ki ha'chavera hazot keshiyimshach lemena schar tov ba'amelam v'hi hatzlachat hanefesh. You won't be able to gain from this friendship authentically and deeply if you view the relationship as come and go. If the relationship was formed in a superficial way, then the depth of relationship will also be superficial. If you happen to meet someone who say, hey, we're from the same hometown, let's be friends, and you have some very superficial point of connection, then when you come to talk about something deeply which touches your soul, then that person will say, what are you talking about? Like, I don't get you, because you haven't connected in a deep way. But if you invest in them and you recognize that a relationship takes work, you have to give them compliments, you have to give them gifts, not because Chas v'Sholom you're trying to win them over in an external way. Oh, he won't be my friend if I don't pay for him. No, rather, if you wish to align your inner worlds, you have to recognize that it takes amelus, that you have to invest in a friend. Only if it's someone you've been willing to invest your inner world in, to hear them out, to listen to them deeply, to invest in them and give them of your inner world, that's someone who, when you come to share something of your inner world, they will be open to hear you. And then you can form a friendship which is much deeper than just we have some external point of connection, let's be friends. It's you've invested your very soul in it. And that also explains the final phrase, Havedanet kol adam lekav zchut. There's an external way of viewing dan lekav zchut, which is, let's make up a pretend story that maybe this person was really a friend of him, and that's why he was walking in there, but yeah, right. Yeah, like, okay, the Torah told me I have to, so I'll pretend that I'm making up a story, but let's be real, like, it's just a game, right? It's not a game. It's not at all a game, and it's not funny. When you relate to a person, you bring out in that person how you relate to them. Da, ki tzarich ladun et kol adam lekaf zchut, va'afilu hu rasha gamur, צריך לחפש ולמצא בו איזה מעט טוב. כי על ידי המעט טוב, באותו נקודה הוא צדיק גמור. That's Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. When you relate to a person, if you view them as basically bad, and you focus on that aspect of bad, then you bring out in them that aspect of bad. Like we said by the Rav. How you relate to them, you create them. You relate to a person, that's what you bring out in that person. Dan lekav zchut is not an external of, let's make up a story. Dan lekav zchut is, if you find in them a nukuda of truth, of goodness, of purity, then you meet them at that place. And then you build in them that place. And that becomes the truth of who they are. So when it says here, it's not saying pretend to make up a story. It's saying that when you see someone doing something that doesn't seem logical to you, your natural, external, superficial tendency would say, oh, there's bad. And when you point at them, you say there's bad, you create between the two of you bad in the world. And that brings out more bad, both in you and in them. But if you're looking from a deep perspective, then your perspective creates the reality. And the way that you view them will create yourself, it will build your world, and it will build in a deep spiritual way also their world. And will bring out that aspect of them. Then we're not saying here to pretend and make up stories. We're saying here that you're judging them favorably creates the tov in the world. Let's summarize the major principle of what we said today. We started off by asking, everything here seems external, and we realized there's a lot more depth here than meets the eye. We said there's some underlying theme that accompanies all these three stages, and we're about to summarize it. We asked why it says, Aseh l'charav, you're not creating him, you're just choosing him. We said, why Keneh l'cha l'chaver, that's not authentic. And now we've seen something which touches the inner understanding, and this is the basis of all relationships that you will have with people. When you come to interact with a person, you could interact with them on a superficial, external level of truth of who they are now is who they are, and I'm sticking them into that, and I'm going to judge them in the full way, which means that if I see good, it's good, and if I see bad, it's bad, and then you're labeling them and pinning them and sticking them to that superficial, external view that you initially have of them. However, if you create a perspective that you realize you're looking for truth on a deeper level, not the truth of who they are in your limited view, but the truth of who deeply in their neshama, who they could be, who you want to create them and yourself deeply to be. A truth which is not a truth of a viewing, but it's a truth of creating. It's a truth of bringing out. If you're a teacher in a class and you read a list of the grades of last year and you say, he's clever, he's not, he's clever, he's not, and you pin them to that level, that's not being true. What do you mean? I want to be truthful. This is who they are. No, you're limiting them to that grade. But if you say, I'm relating to them to the depth of truth, of goodness, of what they can reach, of what I could potentially see in them, you're seeing them on a much deeper level of truth. And therefore, when you relate to a friend who's equal to you as a Rebbe, you'll bring out in them such a respect that you will have for them. You'll be able to learn from them and gain from that relationship. When you relate to a friend who's not the initial meeting, but someone you have to invest your very soul into, you'll bring out a much deeper level of...
Aren't you in Rav Davidson's Musar?
Once again, and when you've done lekav zchut on a much deeper level, then you will be able to bring out in yourself of your perception and the way that you view them, not only what you view them, but what you create in them, what you bring out in them is that inner core goodness of who they have the potential to be. So the external truth is what you see now. The deeper internal truth is through your perspective, what relationship you can create. And that is Yeshua Prachia's love-orientated way of viewing other people. And if you do that with other people, you will then learn how to do that with Hashem as well. And you'll recognize that the way you view HaKadosh Baruch Hu will also create the way that your relationship with Hashem is. You can have a relationship with Hashem where you view him as someone mean and cruel, chas v'shalom, and that will create your relationship with him. But this is all teaching us love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is all emanations. Each generation is teaching us a new emanation of the source of love with Hashem. So this understanding is that you, with your perspective of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you create the relationship that you have with him. By you generating a relationship of love and noticing and, in a sense, being done Hashem lekav zchut, that he's all bringing out the goodness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in each stage, then you will generate a relationship of love with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeshar koach. Any questions on that idea? I feel that's like the essence of the message I'm trying to give in so many other areas. When you see it here, all in one Mishnah, you feel like it's air for the neshama. Have a good night.
Thanks so much, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi.
Great pleasure.